All right, my friends, welcome back to Frog Boy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to be a little bit more serious. Tomorrow is the day where we are going to find out what Nvidia and AMD are bringing to the table. Now, as somebody that has recently started into the PC space, I've started buying these GPUs. I started taking PC gaming pretty seriously probably a couple of years ago. Well, actually, it's been about 18 months now since I have switched over from Nvidia over to AMD as my daily driver and have essentially been proactively promoting AMD on the channel just due to the fact that I love the experience, and I feel like people that are unwilling to try AMD are only cheating themselves out of being able to potentially find an experience that might actually compel or that might actually be more beneficial to them over what they're getting with the Nvidia at the price points that you can get into Nvidia. I definitely feel like AMD, you know what, it's not even a feel. AMD absolutely delivers more of a bang for your buck when you compare that to what you get from the Nvidia side. So guys, let's talk about what we actually want to see from Nvidia and from AMD. First of all, let's start with pricing. If you've been in a PC space since pretty much the 30 series, the 30 series was probably the last affordable GPU range when it came to like your 80 series. The 80 series started at, what was it, like $699, and then literally jumped to $1,200 the very next generation for an 80 class card that was cut down, went down from a 320-bit bus down to a 256-bit bus. And yeah, the rest is history. They have almost literally doubled their prices. AMD is not completely out of the water. They did come out with a 7900 XTX at, $1,000, and then a 7900 XT at $900. So it's not like they didn't raise the price too. So what we want to see this generation, because we all know we're all pretty smart. We know that we're probably not getting a massive uplift in overall performance, hardware performance. Definitely isn't going to be anything close to a 50%, uptick over what we already have. I'm thinking more in line with like 20, maybe 30% uplift. Maybe 5090 comes out 30% better than what you got with a 4090 already. Clearly, the rest of the stack is basically just going to kind of roll down. That's pretty much what's expected. Obviously, AMD is not coming out with anything super potent this generation to try to replace the 7900 XTX or even the 7900 XT for that matter. I feel like the 9070 XT might be in line with the 7900 XT, might be a little bit faster, a little bit slower, right around that power range for AMD. If you look at the Nvidia class, obviously 5080 is probably going to, I think it's going to slot in underneath the 4090 and still cost what a 4090 is costing the MSRP. I really do think that the Nvidia is ballsy enough to try to sell you 4090, gimped 4090 power in a 5080 for 4090 power or 4090 money, maybe a little bit cheaper. Maybe they come in at like $1,300. Maybe $1,300. I could see them doing that and being like, well, their justification is, well, we cut the bus down to 256 and we took off some of that memory. You don't really need 24 gigs of VRAM. We could just give you the 16 or whatever. And that's fine. You look at it however you want to. A little bit under 4090 power. Obviously, gimped 4090 is still going to be significantly better. Obviously, you'll have faster RAM with GDDR7, stuff like that. But I don't think in a million years that faster RAM is going to completely negate whatever potential bottlenecks might come a little bit down the road. I mean, we're looking at the technology that's launching with today's games. What about tomorrow's games? That has always been something that is more important to me, is how are tomorrow's games going to perform on the current hardware that we have right now? Because the better the hardware gets, the more leeway the developers have to start pushing things a little bit further. And we have significantly better hardware specs and we have lower hardware specs. So it's always somewhere in between, but there's always something out there to really push the boundaries and let us really know what our GPUs can do. So obviously we want to see better pricing with current we want to see better pricing with the current, if we're only getting current power, we want to see better pricing on it. That's basically the first thing that I want to see. Second thing that I want to see, obviously, because most of the uptick that we're going to see this generation is going to be from software. So what we want to see is we want to see better ray tracing performance across the board. We want to see better upscaling performance across the board. I mean, technically, we'd rather have the power. I mean, if you're anybody in the now or in the here now, and you've been doing PC stuff for a while, you definitely know that hardware is always been king, always gonna be king. Yes, software does alleviate a lot of that. Software does make a lot of this better, but there are features that even DirectX 12 features that are not being fully utilized, like direct storage or any of this stuff that's not even being truly tapped into. So we don't really fully know exactly what our hardware can do. They just keep putting out new hardware. And then they keep bringing out new fake freaking stuff to, you know, enhance our frames and this and that. Nobody's even trying to optimize this hardware down to the T to get us good enough specs. So yes, we want to see better optimization in the overall software that's going to be coming out, that's going to be propelling these GPUs and this tech forward. We want to see some concrete stuff that's going to make that a better experience. Next thing, I want to see some gosh dang better optimization for these games. I want Nvidia to come out this generation with a standard for ray tracing, a standard for ray tracing that every developer can hit. Bringing out new games at the end of the generation that are significantly going to cripple the cards that you already have with ray tracing features, they can do this indefinitely. They can continue to increase the rays, they can increase the bounces, they can bring so much, like technically ray tracing is still kind of fake. Path tracing is actual real ray tracing, whereas the other old ray tracing that you can actually run on all your GPUs now, even AMD, that ray tracing was more of like a software, like a cheat or whatever, but then the path tracing is more realistic and you can exponentially increase that above and beyond what current hardware can do and completely cripple these cards. So we need Nvidia to come out and make a stand and be like, all right, this is the threshold. 4 bounces. 4 bounces, path tracing, 4 bounces. This is the threshold. This is what we would like to see most developers kind of stick to. Yes, you can do more, but you need to tell the people that are buying these games that, hey, we're going to add it so that you can do more bounces for future hardware or whatever, but the current standard should be set in stone so that when you buy your GPU, you know that, like, okay, this game might come out with, you know, obviously say it's 2 bounces. Say 2 bounces is the threshold. Is like hey, this is what we built this hardware for. This hardware class should be able to run this well, and be able to do a good job and give you a good experience with the feature set that we have on this hardware. And then developers, if they're going to push that envelope and bring more bounces for your path tracing, then they need to say that, look, 2 bounces is what the card is made for. This is for future hardware. If you buy a better card later down the road, your better card will be able to run this, blah, blah, blah. Something like that. We need to have I think we should have something like that, just so that developers know that, like, look, you can't just come out and overcripple this card. We want to be able to keep at least the facade of performance staying pretty much the same and staying pretty kosher, you know, so that we know what we're getting and what we're buying. Because I think that trying to hide everything behind like DLSS or FSR or frame generation or any of this stuff, I don't think that is good, because a lot of people want to play games and they don't want to have to play with those settings. They want to be able to play native. They want to be able to utilize, you know, the full GPU. There's just situations that make it so it's really hard to optimize a lot of these games going forward. So I would like to see that. I would definitely like to see some of these developers start putting forth the effort to actually optimize these games better so that we can have better experiences overall, my friends. And then, yeah, I want to know, I don't want, one thing I don't want to see is any of these GPUs coming out half-baked. I'm talking to you, AMD. If you're going to bring FSR4, it needs to come out with these GPUs at the start of the generation. I love fine wine. I do. I love the fact that like later down the road, my AMD GPU performs better than what it did at launch. But we need these features now. And we need these features at launch. Same goes for Nvidia. We need these features to be there, especially if you're only going to try to bring gains through software. That software needs to be ready day and date, and we need to have that stuff to be actually. Oh, sorry, they were filming another video, and then decided to bring me the light back here at the end. So yeah, guys, I want to see better overall utilization of the current hardware that we actually have too. I want to see these GPUs really put to work, and I want to see these developers actually utilizing this power, because guys, we have so much power on tap right now. I mean, my 7900 XTX is an absolute beast. I'm able to play whatever I want to play and have a good time with that. 3440 by 1440p or even 4K, utilizing some kind of upscale into something. It's doable and it looks good, but I want to see better optimization from these developers, and I want to see the software that they're actually going to bring make a difference and be good, be consistent, and be consistent across all games. One other thing is I'd like to see is I would really like to see developers stop taking Nvidia's filthy money to cripple games on other hardware. And same goes for AMD. If AMD and Nvidia want to actually build their own freaking gaming studios and put out an exclusive game that runs well on their hardware, I would love to see that over taking and co-opting third-party developers, giving them money, and then making them cripple the game, because that just makes the developers look bad. I mean, I love CDPR, but they're freaking questionable. Freaking taking that filthy Nvidia money is starting to get on my nerves because I'm an AMD bro now. So yeah, I would like to see AMD and Nvidia both make their own damn gaming studio, or buy a gaming studio and then have them make exclusive games for their hardware that launch with their damn cards or at the end of the generation. I would like to see that. I would like to see Nvidia and AMD fully build out full-on games that fully take advantage of their hardware and work across multiple generations. I think that'd be freaking awesome if Nvidia and AMD would do that. Make exclusive games yourself, guys, instead of having these third-party developers catching bullets for you guys every time they bring out a game and it doesn't work good on the other competing hardware. So those are some things that I'd like to see at CES. Some other weird things is I'm definitely interested in these newer handhelds that are coming out. Those look kind of cool. I was playing around with the ROG Ally. Obviously, I think there might be something from Xbox getting announced or launched tomorrow in terms of like a new hybrid console or system that's going to be an OEM designed thing that they'll be able to bring an Xbox app or something to it. That there's got me kind of intrigued to see if there's something that's going to happen like that, instead of Xbox actually building out a next gen upgrade. I kind of feel like there's something like that planned, and I think we're going to hear more about that during CES. But yeah, guys, as for like these GPUs and the hardware and everything, guys, man, I'm excited. And I can't wait to see what I'm buying for this year for content. So if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.